All right, what's going on, everybody? Arse Bros production, my own fucking show. Max decided to give me the keys to I want to say Ferrari, but more like a fucking Chevy Equinox. But
more like a
more like
Volkswagen Beetle.
Yes,
or a ratty ass Prius.
Hey, Prius. They're fuel
efficient. The Arse Bros could never be a Prius. We're running on like full oil.
No, we're on
guzzling.
full octane here. All right.
we're just burning holes in the fucking ozone, mate.
I'd tell you both to break me in gently since this is my first Arse Bros show, but fuck it, no lube. Let's go.
Let's go.
Raw dog, baby.
I did poke holes in the condom, but anyways, so the show's called Ryan and Friends. I'm gonna be.
Why are you wearing a condom?
Yeah, that's true. But anyways, I'm gonna be having friends, hanging out, drinking, doing what we want to do. Maybe the same people, maybe different people. I don't really know, nor do I really care. We're mainly gonna be talking about cups: A cups, B cups, C cups, Carabao, FA Cup, Europa Cup. Yeah, all cups. And with me today, my buddy Tanner. Tanner, say hi to the lovely people out there.
Hi to the lovely people out there.
And I have a special treat. I did some things. I did some sexual favors. I broke him out of Twitter jail. Max, let everybody know.
Fucking Twitter jail again. Whole new. So get me now at the Arse Brothers. The Arse Bros rant is dead. I got banned off Twitter for calling Tim Sherwood a cunt with a cunt face. And may I say again,
cunt face, that's fine.
Again. So this is my third Tim Sherwood based Twitter suspension, and this time they have permanently banned me. But I wrote them a letter saying that I had a mental condition, and I laughed about it. And then my brother was like, "But you do have a mental condition, so you gotta sail close to the fucking truth."
Well, he's here, he's back, he's got a Twitter, and you guys could reach out to him. But anyways, so first order of business, I thought was very interesting. Normally, I'm not a lineup guy, nor do I really care, but I do want your opinions on the lineups because I thought it was very strong. I don't want to say I was worried, but I just didn't understand the need to go such strength in probably the cup we care about the least. What do you think, Tanner?
Yeah, strong lineup for sure. I mean, Arteta's going to give a shit about it. I don't think he's going to give an overwhelming shit about it when push comes to shove. You know, the goals are much bigger this year, but I'm sure I've said this somewhere along the way. You know, I think he is using this year as a springboard to Champions League next year. So I think he wants to bed these guys in. And when you look back on his City years under Pep, I mean, their B team could have qualified for the Champions League. And I think that's where Arteta's at right now. So I think you're going to see strong lineups put out pretty much the entire season. That includes, Carabao Cup matches, FA Cup matches if we come up against, some shit team from the outer reaches of
fuck no way.
But I was gonna say your butt, Max, but close enough.
Someone's butt.
But I strong lineup. I'm happy to see it, and that's pretty much my 10 cents. My 2 cents are free.
Yeah, I thought it was an indication of two things. Number one, I thought it was an indication of what momentum and winning means to Arteta. So I don't see why you would, coming off the back of last season when we finished 8th and being this early in the season and it being up against opposition that finished above us last year as well. It wasn't like we put out this team against, fucking nobodies from, the bottom of the table or against a Fulham. It definitely showed to me that there is that there has been a lack of winning mentality at Arsenal, and that what Mikel Arteta wants to do, what he wants to put in them from a psychological perspective, is to say, go out and we will win every game, and the intention is to win the next game that's in front of us, regardless of competition. I'll have a League Cup. I'll fucking have an FA Cup. I'll have some Europa League cup. I never understand when people seem to say like, oh, I don't really give a fuck about these cups. And we still got to see Joe Willock. We still got to see Reece Nelson. We still got to see Bukayo Saka. We still got to see Ainsley Maitland-Niles. A lot of people think these guys are just inherently first-team players now. They're still kids. I mean, granted, Saka had a fantastic season last year, but he's still a kid. And we still have to make sure that we get him into a position where he is confident this season, where he doesn't have a second season syndrome. I think there's a fallacy with Arsenal fans. They think just because someone has a good year, they're going to have a good year the next year and the next year. I remember fucking Roque Santa Cruz looking like the best striker in the world for a year. I remember that fucking, what was that cunt's name? The fucking Spanish cunt with the Japanese name.
With the
Mishu. Fucking what was his name?
I don't know. You do it.
Michu. Do you remember that fucker? He came in Swansea, fucking scored 1 million goals. Oh, the cunt's going to be the best player in the world. Next year went off fucking ledge. I've had a couple of beers today. I might be a bit sweary. But that was what I thought, Ryan. I thought it was about momentum. I thought it was about winning. I thought it was about opposition. I thought it was about not letting this team go out and lose this early in the season by playing a really weakened team and then losing confidence and losing momentum in the other areas.
That's fair. I mean, I agree with both of you, but then I also, too, I added kind of another layer on top, and I thought, maybe he's trying to shop some of these players, There's a lot of players, and even young guys, even like the Willocks, the Reece Nelsons of the world, they could go out on loan. We could sell them.
Got to shop them. You got to shop them for loan. Someone's got to want to loan them.
We need,
if they're going to get loaned, they've got to get loaned into teams where they're going to start, which means people have to be wanting to loan them to start them, not loan them to backfill their benches and do the same thing that we do. So
can't have another replay of Eddie at Leeds last year.
Except for Kolasinac. He could just leave. I don't care who takes him. He can sit on the bench. He can play for the reserves. I don't give a fuck where he goes. Just get him out of ours. Get him out of really. But yeah, I mean, I don't really want to talk too much about the game because
it's boring.
I think you guys both saw it. I think I actually watched it with you a little bit, Tanner, and I'm sure everyone listening, whether it's live or on the replay, I'm sure you guys all a luchador. Yeah,
I don't know who this Arsenal luchador is. I mean, there needs to be an inquiry into who this man is. He came to my house last week. He banged on my door. I didn't even know he was in Australia. He attempted to take my wife from me. He just keeps threatening me and telling me if I don't watch the same old Arsenal USA show that he's going to come for me. And it's
when you said that he banged on your door, I mean, do you mean your back door or
no, mate, just pulled out his luchador cock and just started whipping it, just fucking whipping it around.
Oh God. Okay. Well, with that being said, does everybody, okay. Since we all
big dick swinging, baby, big dick swinging.
I mean, that's what we're doing here, right? That's what the show's all about. Big
to
dick
impress
swinging.
A dick, helicopter dick, go. Helicopter dick, go. Helicopter dick.
Anyways, so I just briefly want you guys to summarize your thoughts on the game because I don't want to fucking break it down like an invalid. So, quick thoughts, Max, on the game.
I fell asleep twice. Once watching it live, and then once at midday the next day. It wasn't a particularly entertaining game. It was a lot of players who are either, like you said, shop window players or looking to get into the team or who aren't up to the speed of the game yet. Saka was good. I thought Reece Nelson was quite good. I thought Reece Nelson played that role the way Willian plays the role on the other side, and it really got me thinking about, when Willian comes off now and Pepe comes on, because Pepe doesn't backfill the midfield the way that Willian does. Both times Willian's come off, we've lost control of the midfield, and it made me think, well, if you're in a game and you're actually controlling the game, the smart substitution now is to bring Nelson on if you need to pull Willian off, not to bring Pepe on. And I thought that was good for Nelson because it shows some value for him that we maybe didn't otherwise see. I thought Saka was quite good. Best part of the game was Eddie Nketiah blowing up when we scored a goal and him blowing up about not receiving the ball. That for me is the most I have ever liked Eddie Nketiah. I've never liked him more for just cracking it because he didn't score a goal even though the ball went in. That reeks to me of like Ian Wright, ice in the veins. The only thing that matters is goal scoring mentality.
And he's done it before. This isn't the first time he's done this. He's done it before.
Yeah. I like that. I like that about him. Makes me think that he is a, something more for the future than what I thought it was. Shows off our squad a bit. Kolasinac is crap.
By the way, I'm really mad. I don't remember where I saw it. Someone, I don't want to name the social media I saw it on or the article I read, but somebody gave Kolasinac a 9 out of 10 for that game. I didn't think he was normal crap, but someone needs to get their head checked.
He had a 6. He's an average. He's an average player.
I probably wouldn't even go that high. I'd probably say 5.
So it's funny, Max, you did not mention a player that has been under a lot of scrutiny, a lot of pressure with the $72 million price tag, Pepe. Tanner, were you a little worried that it took so long for him to get into the game? Because he did get into the game. He did technically led to the own goal.
Pepe is not a player that is going to put himself into the game, if that makes sense. Pepe probably needs to be played into the game, and that's going to come from the midfield. And we all know how shit in terms of creativity the midfield is right now. So that is, I think that's probably, I'd say that's the reason that it kind of took him as long as it did to get into the game. He eventually warmed up to it, but I don't think he was breathtaking once he got into the game. I think he worked hard, obviously he set up the goal with his, cutting in along the goal line, which was great. I'm not disappointed. Not disappointed in his effort. I'm more disappointed in the overall product. Like I said, with the midfield not being able to really create more for him to get him into the game. He's not a Willian. Willian has that ability, like Max was saying, to do things on his own and to really create for himself. Whereas Pepe needs to be played more into the game. And I still don't think he's 100% settled yet in this league.
No.
So
I think there's an element that he so far looks to be a little bit unsuited to the Premiership, which is worrying.
Yeah.
And whether that will change when we go to a 3-man midfield, and if you bring in, how the fuck do I say this cunt's name? Is it Awar?
Who's Sam Awar?
Like Jaguar, but you're saying like not the J.
Awar?
Yeah,
Awar.
Jaguar without the J.
Yeah.
Do you remember last season when I was trying to learn how to fucking say Ceballos? That took weeks of me like Ceballos.
And like 20 minutes of a podcast too.
Ciabatta?
I think that there is some. I think that there is some fears with Pepe around his suitability. Funnily enough, I think technically what he requires 2 or 3 players closer to him for him to kind of give and go and interchange with. He reminds me a little bit of Theo Walcott in a sense where it seems that the more time he has to think about things, the less effective he is. And if he just does, like when he's running onto a ball and he's smashing it first time, his technique comes to the fore and it's like, oh, there's a very good player there. But when he gets this time and this space and there's no one near him, there's no one to riff off, I don't know that he's an intelligent enough footballer. Like if you look at the football IQ of Willian when he plays, that's the thing I've been so impressed with Willian. It's like he gets into a situation, I'm like, you regularly make the right decision at the right time. You recycle when you have to recycle. You take on when you should take on, and you cross when you should cross. Sometimes I find with Pepe, I'm like, well, you didn't cross before, but you did cross then. But previously, you probably should have crossed. There seems to be no rhyme or reason when you come in and chime in the middle. So there's either a football IQ or a suitability or a premiership-based thing. I wouldn't be massively surprised if he doesn't end up making it at Arsenal, like making it big. If he ends up being one of those players who we buy for 80 million, we sell for 50 3 years later, best case scenario. That doesn't mean I don't like him. It doesn't mean I don't think he adds value. It's just on the basis of what I've seen, other than the glimpses of an incredible technique, I don't know. Are you guys on the same level? Arsenal fans don't need to be for or against someone. You're allowed to provide arguments in between.
Right.
I mean,
if you have half a brain, you can figure that out.
I've been saying this for a while. I just don't think Bellerin suits him. I think Bellerin's not the player that
you have Maitland-Niles behind him.
No, I know, but that was what I was getting at. As I don't think Bellerin's the kind of guy that suits him because Bellerin likes to cut in the middle. Pepe needs to cut in the middle. They just kind of overlap each other. They kind of clash. I think, and to Max's point, I think that's how Pepe got in the game. I think AMN kind of saw him kind of drifting off on his little lonely island because the first half it was the Halen boys all day long. You had your Saka, Saka, Willick, AMN, Reese Nelson. They to me that was Pepe not playing so well was kind of fucking pissing me off. But to me, I really loved the way the game flowed with the Halen boys because they used to all play together in the U23s and they were just linking play up, passing, knowing where each other were. I loved it. It was I liked watching them play. But then in the second half, I think AMN kind of saw Pepe, struggling a little bit, not getting into the game. And I think AMN best suits Pepe just because AMN will stay on that line. Maybe he'll take a guy out, he'll dribble through a guy, but he'll pass. I just see AMN as a nice Swiss Army knife. I don't know.
I would like to see him used less of a Swiss Army knife this year and played in a position as the first choice so that we can see by the end of the season
what we have with him.
If he is undiscovered talent or if he is overrated ability.
I think him and Willick, I think, are two guys that I think we really need to nail positions down for.
I think Willick needs a loan.
Yes.
Like I need a fucking hand job every day. Not even a hand job. I don't even like hand jobs.
Yeah, why would you like
Does anybody really like hand jobs?
I don't know. I like my own. Like I like to.
Well, yeah. I mean.
Well, no. What you do is just you sit on your hand for like 5 minutes. You drink coffee.
It has to be your offhand. It has to be your offhand.
Well, see, I'm a switch hitter, so it doesn't. That doesn't really work.
I mean,
really?
we knew that.
Can't jerk off with both hands.
I can.
With both hands.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. It's a little fun fact for all.
Oh wait, that's what you meant by switch hitter?
Yeah. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah. What are you talking to Manny? Manny's like convinced I like the dick, but we won't get into too much of that. But anyway, I hope my fiance didn't hear me in the back, and yes, it's a woman. So.
Anyway,
back onto AMN. Back onto AMN.
His name is Steve, by the way.
Speaking of Big Steve, shout out to Big Steve because going into this guy. I know this is like I'm going all over the place, but going in this game. Well, I shouldn't say that. I subscribe, maybe not subscribe. I like the Church of Steve in that I'm all for playing the kids. I love playing the kids. Love the kids. We saw a few of them. I wanted to see more. But it's really. I just wanted to shout out to Big Steve because he gets a lot of shit for liking the kids. No, that's not right. Liking to play the kids.
There you go.
And I think best example right there that a lot of your Saka's. He's like a first teamer now, but like you have like the Helen. I keep saying because that's what they're called. They're called the Helen boys. In Saka, Willick, Nelson, AMN. But yeah, do you guys have any other things you want to say about AMN or anything else about the Halen boys?
No, I like the way Max put it though. The undiscovered talent or the overrated ability. And with AMN, I think we need to nail down a position for him this year and say, okay, this is what you're going to be this year. Now go do it. Obviously barring injury somewhere else where he can play. And I couldn't agree more with Joe Willick. Joe Willick needs to go out on loan if it's to, a high-end championship side that's going to compete for promotion, a lower tier, Premier League club that where he'll be a first name on the team sheet week in and week out. He needs to go out.
Even a move to Germany for Joe Willick. Like I see that I see those steps, those loan moves to be loan moves for different things for different people. Like a loan move down to the championship for me is about making a man of a boy because you're going to go down there, you're going to have the shit kicked out of you in a really physical league where you play every 3 days regardless, rain, hail, and shine on sometimes average pitches. That's why I think ESR going down there was so important, because he's gone down. He already had lots of technique and he's gone down there. And from what we saw, he really rose to the physical occasion of the championship. I think with Reece Nelson, he needs to go to a Premier League club if he needs to go anywhere at all. Like I said, I watching that game, I started to see a place for him this year, as in, okay, well, I can see us playing Reece Nelson instead of Willian in cups, doing the Willian role if we're gonna buy so heavily into this system. But for me, if I was going to send him on a loan, he needs to go to a Premier League club, because you can't send him from a youth system to Germany, bring him back into the Premier League, and then downgrade him into the Championship. That's just going to destroy his confidence. He needs to go to a Premier League team. For Joe Willock, I can see like a move to Germany similar to Nelson's move, where he would go over there, be playing in a proper league, so he feels like he's still playing in a proper league, but playing against teams and in a system where maybe there's a little bit more time and maybe he can craft his skill, because there's no need to send Willock down to the Champions League to get him more physical. He's already a 6'1" lump and very much physical enough for the Premiership. His issue is in technique and application of technique.
Yeah.
All right. So player-wise,
I'll say this real quick, just to just one more thing on Reece Nelson and to Max's point. I don't know how much truth there is to this, but if the Zaha rumors are true and Reece Nelson will be going to Palace the other way on loan, take Zaha coming here completely out of the equation. I'm perfectly content with Reece Nelson going to Crystal Palace on loan.
He's better than what they have, so therefore he will play. And I think he would go and give Andros Townsend a real run. A real run on the right-hand side. And that's what you want from a loan move. You want to know that those players are going to go and that they're going to get time. I even think, when we got Callum Chambers back from the Fulham move, Callum Chambers is the forgotten man. That's the best Callum Chambers that we ever had, was coming back from the Fulham move. Yep. We didn't get a great Callum Chambers coming back from the Sunderland move. Have I fucked that up? Did he go to Sunderland?
Fulham. Wait, what?
No, what was this move before he got relegated? What was his move before Fulham?
Might have been, might have been.
No, Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough. Yeah.
Anyway, that's an application of where I thought that was an average move. Like, he didn't come back better from that. He just went and played in front of a rickety midfield and got exposed. He didn't come back with more confidence. But when he went to Fulham, he went there, developed different aspects of his game, and came back to us a better player. And pre-injury, he was very good for us. In fact, at one point, he was probably the centre-back that you would be choosing for us over many others. So I don't remember why I fucking started talking about Callum Chambers. Loan moves.
There you go.
I think that Reece Nelson going over there, I can almost guarantee that he is going to have the technical ability to be able to push the people who are there. And look, Zaha coming on a move for us, I like it. I was a big advocate for pushing Zaha instead of Pepe. Having now watched this Arsenal team and watched Mikel Arteta and what he wants to do and what he wants to play, I would worry that it's got to be either Aubameyang, Pepe, or Zaha in a team, because you need the counterbalance on the other wing of someone who is going to do the hard work, is going to pull into midfield. So I know you can all have these like massive erections and wet dreams of front threes of like Aubameyang, Pepe, and Zaha. But that may work if you're going and trying to bum a lower league team who is sitting in a deep block against you. But without the correct midfielders and without the correct balances to the equation, you're just overloaded on one side of an equation, then under-delivering on another side of the equation. Do I think it's an improvement on Reece Nelson? Absolutely. I don't think anyone can deny that at this space in their careers right now, if you bring in Zaha and he plays 30 games, he will score you 10 goals. If Reece Nelson plays 30 games, I doubt he'll score you 10 goals.
No, agree.
Yeah.
Someone that stuck out to me, I guess more how they played, surprised me in a good way, was Eddie. Eddie Nketiah, I thought, to me, I think, I don't know if it was Stan or you, Tanner, kind of, not in a way, not really disagree with me, but I thought he played more of a Lacazette kind of role, where he kind of came back a little bit, played a little more of a false nine kind of role, kind of, tried to get stuck in and fight for the ball, win the ball for us instead of, poaching like he normally does. Granted, that's how he scored for us, just being at the right place at the right time. Boy, does that guy have a knack for it. And you can't teach that. You really can't. Tanner, what are your thoughts about Eddie and his performance?
Oh, his work rate was top notch. His work rate was absolutely off the charts. I'd probably have to go back and watch again and really sort of focus on him when we're in possession to be able to, firmly agree or disagree with what you said about the way he played. But he's an absolute poacher, man. He's just like you said, and that's instinct. That's all instinct. It's reading the play when the ball isn't on your foot and sort of being able to see where the bounces are going to be, and like you said, being in the right place at the right time. So, that's 2-2 now for him, one of which is a game winner. So he's got to be brimming with confidence right now. And his work rate was just exceptional. And I'm glad he got the goal at the end to, get the reward for the hard work that he put in.
So Max, Lacazette or Eddie, who are you starting on Monday against?
I'm not fussed either way. Toby and I spoke about this on our review show, and I said, look, they both provide different things. They both provide things that the other doesn't. I thought that Lacazette, in fact, you and I were the only two out of our group who thought this, but I think you gave Lacazette your 2 points and I gave him my 3 points because I thought that he absolutely, at least for 50 minutes of that game, his fitness is something that has to be brought into question now. He empties his fucking tank and then can't fucking get a touch away into like 10 minutes in the second half, which is a very strange thing for me because a lot of people put that down to coming back from injury last season, but he's been back for a long time. He's had a whole preseason. He's still blowing out of his ass. Anyway, against West Ham, I thought he battered their centre-backs in the first half, and that's what I want to see from Lacazette. He's not a 7-foot giant. He's not Andy Carroll. He's not Duncan Ferguson. He's not Olivier Giroud. You can't look at him and expect them to be able to lob long balls up to him and he's going to hold everything and knot everything down. But his role is to physically occupy centre-backs. And I thought against West Ham, not only did he physically occupy them, but he hurt them a bit. He made sure when he went in for a challenge, if he didn't win it, he skittled the central defender. What does Eddie do better? I think Eddie's runs are a lot more intelligent. He drags defenders around a lot more intelligently than what Lacazette does, but I don't think Eddie's ever going to hurt and occupy a defender. So 6 of one and a half dozen the other. I really like them in tandem, 60-40. Like why? I don't understand why this can't be a thing. Why can't Lacazette start the game, be physical, empty his tank, occupy them, and then you bring on Eddie later where you've got tired defenders and he gives them a whole nother problem. Vice versa, bring Eddie on and give Eddie the remit of running the defenders around and opening up space early, and then bring Lacazette on to be physical when they're tired and he can win balls. And maybe Lacazette's going to get more goal-scoring opportunity and be better when the games open up late and he's not blowing out of his ass by the time the opportunities come to him. I think there's so much more going on here than – I said it to Tanner at the start of the podcast. You don't have to just pick yes or no boxes on players. You don't have to just say, I am a Xhaka fan or I am a Xhaka hater. I am a Lacazette fan or I'm a Lacazette. You are allowed to pick a middle ground like I do with Xhaka all the time where I say anyone who thinks he is a god of football is a moron and anyone who thinks he's complete and total shit and provides nothing is equally a moron. He's a 7 out of 10 player.
It's like I just found my soulmate. I'm sorry, Ryan.
Jesus Christ! All right, get
leaving.
Get
everything, and I only for the sake of entertainment purposes. I hate that I'm going to agree once again with everything you just said because let's face it, a little bit of controversy or banter or disagreement is good for clicks and views. But at the end of the day, you're fucking right. You can look at Lacazette and Eddie Nketiah and you can say they both bring their own element. They both bring their own unique way of playing the game. And you don't have to hate one or the other. You don't have to hate Eddie to love Laka. You can love both of them equally.
Football is not monogamous.
No, it's not. And this is I don't know if you saw it the other day on my little rant about Martinez and the burn. It's just like this is absolutely asinine to me that fans and I know it's not just this fan base. It's just that I'm a supporter of Arsenal Football Club, so this is the fan base that I deal with. It's like you if you like one, then you automatically have to hate the other. You don't. I am very capable of loving and supporting Bernd Leno as my goalkeeper and still wishing Emi Martinez nothing but, for the most part, the best of luck at Aston Villa. And back to Lacazette and Eddie, you're spot on, Max. I love the 60-40 idea of let one of them do their thing against the defense for 60 minutes and either beat them up physically
at 100% for 60 minutes. Go out there and just empty it.
Yeah. If it's Eddie for 60 minutes, yeah, you bet somebody might need to come out and drag you literally off the pitch because you can't walk another step without collapsing. And if it's Laka for 60 minutes, you better be getting an ice bath after the game from all the bruising and swelling and the muscle aches and everything that you come away with because you just went 12 rounds with Prime Tyson.
What's that old boxing adage? Styles make fights. Make fights.
Yeah.
And just because if Tanner and I fight and I beat Tanner because I'm rangier, and then Tanner and Ryan fight and Ryan beats Tanner because he grabs him on the fucking dick and puts his thumb in his ass, right? Woo-hoo! Does that mean that I am necessarily the better fighter or Ryan is the better fighter? It's not. It's just we have different styles.
Wouldn't that make Ryan the better lover?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it depends.
Well, I guess it depends on what you're into. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Why can't you look at different games and different setups? Why does it always have to be Xhaka? I've been saying for weeks, I like playing Xhaka when Arsenal are playing passive. When Arsenal are playing passive and sitting on the break because everything's in front of him.
Right.
I like Xhaka against Liverpool. I would pick Xhaka in the game against Liverpool because I think he'll do a great job there. I hated Xhaka against West Ham because we had waves and waves and waves of possession, which meant that we got pulled more and more out of our shapes by, may I say, a very well-organised Moyes team. I don't think he got the credit for how well he set them up.
Yeah.
And then he gets transitioned and run against. And then people are like, he had 150 fucking passes, fucking 98% fucking. And I'm like, and he got fucking run past constantly as soon as we got transition. So is that me giving Xhaka shit, or is that me talking about Xhaka's suitability to the particular game, to the particular opposition? We brought in a coach who is capable of playing multiple different ways and pulling multiple different levers. And I just think that buys into the Lacazette, Eddie Nketiah argument. And you know what? I'll throw a third cog in there. Fucking Martinelli. You bring Martinelli into the team, you have a whole nother option there at centre forward. I don't think he's going to get a great run off the left. Not with Aubameyang there. Not with Saka, putting himself into the spotlight like he did, especially after Martinelli got injured last year. Martinelli played a huge amount of football for us up front as the centre forward in the Europa League, where he scored headers. And Lacazette I know he scored a header last week, but he rarely fucking scores headers. Eddie, I know he has scored headers, but that's not his game. Right. So all of a sudden you have a bigger, more dominant, more physical player, and you're like, okay, so now I have a Lacazette-style player who's going to do all the really unrewarding hard work when he's at his best. When he's not at his best, he's a whinging little French cunt, sits there getting any contact and sitting on the floor and crying.
Oh, yeah.
You've then got Eddie Nketiah who's going to go out and do just the thankless, constant, relentless pulling away from the ball to drag defenders away, which opens up space for Aubameyang. And then you've got Martinelli who's going to come on and demand the ball, carry the ball, and take people on. Is it not possible that in a season where we're going to play FA Cup, League Cup, Premier League, and Europa, that we can find 20 games a season for all of these guys and another 20 performances off the bench?
Absolutely. And you kind of started to hit on a point I was going to make with Arteta. This is a guy who is showing that he is adaptable in terms of the formation that he plays. And then within each formation, being able to play different styles with different positions based on the player that's in the game. Like you said, Lacazette is going to be the guy to hold up the ball. Eddie is going to be the guy to make the intelligent runs, but also, as you said, pull the defender away to create space. And then you get Martinelli, who, again, demands the ball. He's going to take players on one-on-one. He wants to carry the ball into the box and then shoot. And you can, and Arteta is the guy who has all of these. He's a mad scientist right now with all of these different pieces that he has, especially in attack. He's Dr. Frankenstein with what he's going to try to create. You know, I don't know if anybody's going to get this reference, but he's like the creator of fucking Voltron. He's got all of these different things that all of a sudden he's going to say, wait, this can fit over here. And then this fits here. And then form the arms and the legs, and I'll form the head. And all of a sudden it's a fucking cyborg made of five
powers combined.
Yeah, it's like, wait, it's 5 lions to make one fucking big lion? What? Sign me up.
Ryan, I'll put this question to you. Is there any difference between having a 35 goal a year striker or having 3 strikers produce you 40 goals across the year?
I couldn't agree more with you when you said, styles make fights. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to adapt because I know when Wenger used to be here, Wenger was all about like, let the teams beat us. We're going to play like we're going to play, and we're going to do that. But I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's games that we need to take into consideration where we need to kind of think how the other team thinks and kind of get in their head and be like, okay, maybe Martinelli works here, maybe Laka, maybe Eddie. Because I just keep going back to this, styles like fights. Laka that's not going to be suitable for every game, and there's games where he falls to the ground, doesn't get the right call, and he just sits there and cries. And I can't be watching that for every game of the season or every big game of the season. Have you? But
I need a beer.
All right, go get a beer. Tanner, what are your? I guess what I wanted to kind of talk about is like how do you want to see us moving forward in these competitions? Do you want us to play weaker lineups? Do you want us to keep with the strength and just, I don't want to say run these guys ragged because we do have an excess of players now. We want to sell more. But what do you think as far as, any cup competition going forward?
I like the idea of the strong lineups. I really do. I think injuries played a little bit of a role in who he selected. I think if Smith Rowe would have been healthy, I think he would have at least gotten a shirt. I'm not saying he would have started, but I think he would have gotten a shirt. I like the strong lineup. This is it's a results-based business. We're in 4 competitions with trophies at the end, and I think it is good for this team given the long-term aspirations of Mikel Arteta and what he's hoping to accomplish, this year, next year, and then the following year after that. So in 3 years' time. I like the idea of these guys playing and not getting a day off just because, we're playing Blackpool, in the 5th round of the FA Cup or whatever it might be. Put a strong team out. We also have 6 Europa League group stage matches to play as well. We're going to travel somewhere fucking goofy. We're going to end up playing a game in the Arctic Circle or some goddamn thing. So, a game or 2 here and there to get some of the younger players in is fine. But the strong sides and look, that means that we have squad depth and these guys need to play. So, yeah, we kind of need to thin the herd a little bit. We do need to desperately try to move some of these guys on because they aren't going to play. If they're still here, they're not going to play. So I want guys playing a little bit out of necessity, but I like the idea of the strong lineup.
Okay. Yeah. Max, I'm going to pose this question to you. I do not want to talk about it long because it's a love-hate thing, but I'm sure we'll get into this later. But Ozil and Guendouzi nowhere near the lineup. Is the door finally closed on these two? I don't even want to call them brats or what.
I have 3 words for Mesut Ozil. Fuck Mesut Ozil.
Okay.
I've got 3 more for you. Fuck his ass.
I'll
tell you what. I was on the Clock End Talk preview show Friday morning Australia time, and we had a very brief kind of conversation about this. And what I hope is that is a marker set to everyone, to the entire Arsenal squad, that they all know that no one is bigger than the club. And I felt that where Unai Emery, the moment where Unai Emery fell off the edge of a cliff is when he gave up and he brought Ozil back into that team. And after trying to convince the players that he was in control and that sort of attitude wasn't to be accepted, when push came to shove, he went and got him. Now, caveat time. Does Mesut Ozil, in any sort of form, provide you with more creativity? Yes. Why is that such a difficult conversation to have with people? Has he
because you either have to love him or you have to hate him. Yeah, there's no in between.
Has he ever shown us that he's going to do that on any level consistently? Has he ever shown us that he's going to train hard enough, be resilient enough, work enough, even within games? You can watch any Mesut Ozil game and find 15 minutes where you're like, Jesus, he's good. You can find 45 minutes where he's nowhere to be seen. So I think it's a like round sum of, I think football, especially Premier League football, has moved beyond him. I think it might have moved beyond him before he even started. When you look at the modern footballer and how hard you have to work and how disciplined you have to be in positioning and areas and zones on and off the ball. And I just hope this is Arteta drawing a line in the sand and saying, look, champion, if you think that you're going to play this year, you're not. We tried to shift you at the start of the year. You didn't want to go. Maybe you thought that you would be able to impose the same amount of pressure with your profile and with your following. That's not going to happen here, champion. I'm Mikel Arteta. I'm the Lego man. You're not going to fucking, you're not going to get me to shift. And I hope that what he's done here is he has signaled to the entire team, and this includes Guendouzi, he's signaled to everyone, you're either with me or you're against me. And if you're against me, I do not care about your profile, your ability, or your ceiling. This is a collective. This is a team moving forward. Together, individually, we are weak. Together, as a faggot of sticks, we are strong. A faggot of sticks. As a single stick, we are weak.
Bundle.
Yeah. Mesut Ozil on his best day is a very versatile, thick stick. But he never comes into the bundle. He never makes us stronger.
A tiny stick. It's like a little
as a group. I said this to Toby last year. I said if we went into Arsenal today and we did a skills test, and we said who's got the best touch in the team, Mesut Ozil would win it. If we said crossbar challenge, Mesut Ozil would win it. If we said stop the ball on this 10 pence piece, Mesut Ozil will win it. If we did a heart challenge and an effort challenge and went hill running and did endurance, Mesut Ozil's at the back of the pack. So there's a middle ground that doesn't exist with him, and the arguments can be made for and against. But ultimately, this is now like it's like ex-girlfriend territory where we keep going back and we keep rooting her and we keep thinking, oh, maybe we can make it work. It's never going to work.
She's a cheating whore.
Cheating slut whore bitch.
Tanner!
You shut your whore mouth when you're talking to me.
Tanner Guendouzi. I know this is actually this might actually be a doozy. He's back in training with the team. You see him in pictures, la-di-da, splat all over Arsenal Twitter page. But he didn't make the team. Did you think Arteta, gave up? You think he just gave up selling him? He's just going to say it. He's just going to rot? Or is there a team you think will be in for him? Or you just think, whatever, Arteta just gave up and doesn't want to do anything with him?
It's a very fine line that he has to walk here, because not playing him doesn't showcase him, and it just further reinforces the idea that he's a bad seed, that he has an attitude problem, but playing him could jeopardize the team, could jeopardize team chemistry. So what's the happy medium? The happy medium at this point right now is probably hope and pray that he toes the straight and narrow, shows up, trains, works hard. You get the pictures on the Instagram, on the Twitter. If he's, going to go out and say anything, about the club, that he does so in a positive light. And hopefully that starts to maybe turn that idea, that impression that is now out there of him, that he's this bad seed. So hopefully he can do some of the work on his own to correct I shouldn't say correct, but change the perception that the world of football has about him right now. As for Arteta and his mindset, I think his mindset is Matteo Guendouzi doesn't really matter to me because I have enough players who are buying into what I'm doing and don't have to apologize to me for anything. They're the ones who are going to get the shirt. Those are my ride or dies. Those are the guys that I want week in, week out, match in, match out. And Matteo Guendouzi just isn't going to fit that. Matteo Guendouzi is going to get back into the lineup when it's a matter of necessity. If Granit Xhaka comes up lame with an injury, Matteo Guendouzi will probably get a shirt for the next game. Barring that, and if we land Thomas Partey and or Houssam Aouar, Guendouzi's done.
And further and further down the pecking
he's
order.
just going to keep going further and further down the pecking order. If I had to venture a guess right now on how things end for Guendouzi with Arsenal, I think he rots in the reserves until somebody comes along and buys him for £12 million.
Wow. Yeah, look, I'd say two things on that. Number one, he's on a long enough contract on a small enough wage bill and is young enough that we don't need to hit the fucking eject button on this immediately. Time is on our side. He's signed. He's not an Erzlon 350 grand taking up heaps and heaps of the cap. I think he's on like 60. I think he got bumped up from about 30 grand to 60 grand last year or something like that. So I'm not saying it's tiny wages. Like it's still wages that you're paying for someone. But there's two possible outcomes here. Number one, he gets enough of a chinning from Arteta that he realizes that what happened under Emery never should have happened. A 18-year-old, 19-year-old never should have been first name on the team sheet, tasked with not only carrying Arsenal spiritually and mentally, but also carrying us physically in the midfield. You know, going and smashing people in North London derbies and like getting in Terry's head. That shouldn't have happened. It was too much, too soon for a young man who already had a bit of a history of being a bit of a hothead and a bit of a shit ass. You know, so then he comes in and Arteta treats him of his station, which is that you are essentially a youth product. Under any other coach, you probably would have been brought in and wouldn't have even seen first team football in that first year. It's in fact an indictment on what else was around him at the time that he played so much. It's an indictment on Emery that he felt the need to play him that much. So anyway, he's on a long contract. He will either learn very fast, and I think this may have even happened this year, Tanner. I think that the teams who came and looked for him, all of a sudden he's come out of France, gone to Arsenal, and what he's looking at is, well, the way I get out of here is to go to Lille or to go to Lyon or any of these places. That's not going to line up for him. That's a step back for him. So now he might sit there and he might look at it and say, I'm at Arsenal. I'm part of an Arsenal squad. Maybe I need to shut the fuck up, get my head down, develop, and be a part of this Europa League team and be a part of this development team and spend the next year or 2 years asserting myself. So maybe Arsenal look at it and they say, well, do we have to buy Ceballos? Do we have to, is he going to be someone who we keep around? You know, he may very well grow from this, have his ass spanked like the child he is, go and sit in the corner and be like, I hate you. You ruined my life.
You all right? I learned it from watching you.
Or he's going to come back, with his curly locks, and his dick between his legs and say, like, I'm sorry. I just want to train. Can I train? Can I show you what I've got? This is win-win for us. We're not so heavily invested in him that we lose a lot if it goes tits up. If we end up being able to use him as a leverage point to get someone else, that's a win. And if he stays and if he learns, then that's a win. The worst thing that can happen here is that he rots and he, walks off into the night, in a season or two. And it was a memory of a kid who we thought at one stage was Fabregas development level.
Yeah. You know who he reminds me of just in attitude and kind of like where I see.
Was that what you were going to say?
This is weird, Ryan. This is very weird.
I fucking said this
very
ago, Tanner. Balotelli. Why always
Mario Balotelli.
Yep.
Mario fucking Balotelli. To be fair,
I've called him that on other podcasts. So you guys just probably like listening to my voice. And
no one cares what you think, champion.
Go fuck stuff. Well, what I do think is very interesting for this argument, though, that I mean, obviously I didn't think of it because it wasn't happening. He captained the under-21s of France just recently. So there's a team, national team, it doesn't matter. A team nonetheless sees him fit to be a captain and to lead their team.
And just because you're a rat bag when you're young doesn't mean you don't show leadership qualities. When I started off in my industry, I was a fucking drug snorting, whoremongering, like just fucking loose unit.
Sounds about right.
People who worked with me saw enough in me to put me into senior management positions in bars early because of the potential. So I had the potential, and then everything caught up and all the shithousery stopped and I got better and better. I'm just saying you can have fucking little shits who also show huge amounts of leadership responsibility. Look at the North London Derby. Look at what he did to John Terry against Villa. Those aren't the actions of someone who is completely rotten to the core. Like I said, I just think he got given too much too early. Silver spooned. Emery made him feel like he was unstoppable.
His head was big enough. His head was big when he got here, and then Emery, and then him becoming Emery's teacher's pet. Yep. That made it even fucking worse. And all of a sudden, it went from the inmates running the asylum to the inmate leading the inmates running the asylum under Unai Emery. And then Mikel Arteta come. Well, I would bet you it probably started with Freddie. Freddie probably came in and was like, "Okay, I'm going to play you, but you're going to settle the fuck down." And then when Arteta came in and he still hadn't settled the fuck down, he was like,
"Look at the players Freddie played with. He would have walked in and gone, "You're not Patrick Vieira. You're not Petit. You're not Parla. You're not Perez. You're not Gilberto. You're a fucking 19-year-old."
It would have been. Wait,
fuck down.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Wait. You didn't say Patrick Vieira? No. What did you? I'm sorry. You didn't say Tony Adams? No. Yeah. Go. Go take a fucking walk. Right.
Say it again.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The last thing I want to hit real quick before we get out of here is, a couple of days ago, Europa came out and said, "Hey, I don't give a fuck if the Premier League's doing 3 subs. We're doing 5 subs." So
I like it.
I love
it.
I love it.
Obviously, this benefits us. Obviously, this benefits us because we're just going to be deeper. We go down your throats, longer, harder, faster. I don't know how that works.
I tell you why I like it.
Yeah, neither does Megan.
Yeah, exactly. Point.
I'll tell you why I like it, right? I think that, especially in cups and in Europa, and I would even be happy if it was 5 subs in Carabao Cup and FA Cup. Number one, it takes the load off teams in what we've already seen is a really difficult. It's very difficult to actually manage the physical load of your teams in modern football. I think it's something Arsene Wenger did really badly because he always wanted to have a cohort of like 13 or 14 players, very small squads. I think that's why we always ran aground late, why we're often in good positions coming into the last, into November, and then we would eat shit throughout December and stuff like that as it all built up on us. The squads weren't big enough. So I like it for that from a player welfare perspective. I don't like it in the Premiership. I don't like it in the standard competition. I think it changes the scope of the competitions too much. But in cups, I don't see why we can't treat cups differently. So I like it from that player welfare perspective. The flip side of that, where I like it as well, is I think that squads and youth get underutilized now in big teams, in top teams. So your youth essentially has to go out on loan and has to play someone else to get game time because there's not enough game time because the stakes are too high. But when you have 5 subs in a cup competition, especially when you're playing like fucking, Borussia, no one fucking cares in buttfuck nowhereistan, being able to take a bigger squad over there and know that you're going to be able to get 16 people game time in that game, it allows you to develop. It allows you to keep more homegrown, homemade talent at the club because they are getting game time and they are developing with you. Is there a shift like tactically? Yes, it changes tactically. It means you can go out and empty the tank more against teams. But does that tactic necessitate more in one team than another? No, it's an equal playing ground. We both get to do this. So I really like the idea of being able to play a youth team and say, okay, let's put the kids out, and then saying, this isn't working. I'll put on U2, and U1. And then you turn around and you win it. It's good for team development. It's good for youth development. It's good for ensuring that clubs can have larger squads of more homegrown talent, It will put, I think, more English players into the spotlight as well, because your youth talent is predominantly going to be British at most levels of clubs. You've got more youth talent at the British level. I don't see why people cracked it about it. If they said they were going to do it permanently in the Premier League, I'd have an issue. I don't like how football looks at the moment anyway. I don't like how VAR has changed the way football looks. I don't like that crowds aren't there anymore. Football's changing constantly. But we can try and modernize the game and change things within cup competitions.
Yeah. All great points. And I'm gonna go a little more specific to Arsenal. I think one other thing that it will do is allow what I think we're seeing as a master tactician really do his thing, in the face of adversity. If we actually encounter some, especially in the group stage of Europa. So, oh, Tony has done it again. But for all of the reasons that Max just said, it's a good thing. But I also think for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta specifically, this is a good thing, because it's going to give him a chance to play around with some different ideas, make some changes here and there if he doesn't like what he sees at a certain point in the match. And I kind of like the idea of 5, because if you don't like the way something's going 25, 30 minutes into the game, and I know this is
make early subs.
You can make an early sub, and I know that is really frowned upon, because you don't want to take the player off at 30 minutes because it could ruin his confidence.
An Unai Emery halftime sub.
Well, but I think Mikel Arteta is also he is proving to be a master tactician. And I think he is a very good man manager. So if he were to make a sub at 30 minutes in the first half, I think he would have a talk with that player that he's pulling off and saying, you know what, look, it's tactical. What we were trying to do just isn't working. It's not you were playing poorly. I wanted to make a tactical change, and that's all it's down to.
Do you remember Fat Frank did it against us when Ozil went out and fucking bummed Chelsea? It was the best Ozil performance we'd seen in ages, because they had a gaping hole in midfield. And I think he brought on Jorginho and immediately just completely changed the scope of the game. And all of a sudden Ozil disappeared into the ether and had nothing to do anymore. I quite like that. Like I said, I don't like the fact that football doesn't look like football at the moment. VAR is changing the fact that football doesn't look like football. Last year, with all of the fucking breaks and the water breaks and the additional coaching and the 5 subs, I was like, I don't want to look at football in 5 years and not remember what it was. I think one of the very romantic things about football is that you can watch football from the 90s, from the early 2000s, and the rules have never changed. The rules exist. Yeah. Offside is offside. These fucking dumb cunts talking about fucking changing the offside rule to suit VAR. Suck my fucking cock. Why the fuck would you change football to suit?
Do it.
To fucking suit, something as ridiculous as that. We'll do another pod, because Manny, I think his next hot topic is going to be on VAR. We're going to have a really, really, really deep dive into VAR, so I don't want to fucking drill into it too much. But that's my kind of thing. I want football to always look like football. I don't want football to all of a sudden look like. Do you remember when MLS brought in penalties from the halfway line?
That was cool. Oh my God.
I really like that, but I would never do it. It's like, that's a great idea, but I wouldn't do it. It's like fantasizing about your missus getting fucked by someone else. It's it's great in the moment, but if it ever happened, you'd be like, I'm not down with this.
Wait, why would it be great in the moment? I would never want my missus to get fucked by anyone.
Because you're a filthy cunt, and you've most likely smoked meth when you're thinking about these things, and you're coming down, and you're like, this would be amazing.
Only you, Max.
Max, your teeth look way too good for you to have.
I was saying to someone the other day, the problem with meth is that the first time it's amazing, the second time it's amazing, and then every other time it's amazing.
All right. All right, that's it. I'm cutting you off. Guys, we're done here. It's been a pleasure for everyone here live. Everyone on the replay, awesome.
Before you go, we should at least who have we got
Oh, yes.
Who have we got coming up? As it is meant to loosely be a cup show.
So I actually wrote in my notes like preview next game verse, and I didn't write. I wrote no team because I didn't know. Obviously, it would be Lincoln or Liverpool, but obviously Liverpool smashed them. I think it was 5-2.
7-2.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck me, right? So we have. So it was
Later.
We have Liverpool Monday, and we have Liverpool Thursday. Both at Anfield. So do we see like? So I don't even know because I do feel Klopp just doesn't give a fuck about Carabao.
Yeah.
No,
He doesn't.
Very low on his.
He doesn't, but you know what? I don't think he's going to let his team get run out of the park either. I don't think on Thursday I think when you look at what Arteta did against Leicester, I think he's going to have that in the back of his mind, and I don't think he's going to let I don't think he's going to throw his U23s out there to the slaughter against basically Arsenal's B team.
I don't know. See, I do feel I feel if we put up a good showing on Monday, if we win, maybe even tie, I can see that.
I don't think we'll win.
I think if Liverpool.
I think it'll be a low-scoring loss in the league, and I think that we've got a chance of taking them in the cup because you're essentially going to see Liverpool's first team and Liverpool's B team.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'll be a good game because I think if we play kind of what we played against Leicester, maybe I don't know.
Are you fucking mad? We're not going to play the way we played against Leicester. We're going to play we're going to play incredibly passive the way we played them the last couple of times, the same way we played City. We're not all of a sudden a wildly better team. We're still the same cunts who finished 8th. We're going to play in a deep block. We're going to try and break them. We're going to play Xhaka and El Neni in the middle. We'll control the middle of the park. We'll put fast assets up front. I doubt Lacazette will start. I think it's a game for Eddie because it's going to be more about running and more about counter-attacking football. Very, very passive. William will start. Aubameyang will start. Tierney will be fucking injured. Hopefully,
I think Tierney's going to play. Are we talking about
Monday or Thursday?
I'm so confused.
Yeah, I don't know. You're talking about Aubameyang playing Lacazette.
I think you're talking Monday, right, Max? Yeah. I think Tierney plays.
Sorry, I've smoked too much meth again.
No,
I hate it when that happens.
You're giving all right. Now I'm talking about Thursday because this is the.
I think we'll still play a very, very strong team on Thursday.
Yeah,
I think in both games we will still play.
I do think on Thursday, depending on how Klopp lines up, I think our style could change. Yeah, I don't think depending on how Klopp lines up, I think we could break away from that very passive defensive structure and try to run them. If he plays a young sort of junior varsity
this week. I think this week ESR comes back from his I think it was his shoulder injury. I would love to see him play against Liverpool on Thursday.
Yeah, he and William Saliba are two guys I really want to see get out there. I want to see what they're about.
Yeah, I do.
Now that I'm with the program and I've realized that we're doing a cup show, which means naturally we would be talking about the cup game, not the Premier League game. I would say the complete opposite of what I was yelling at you before and say that would probably be a fucking high-scoring game. Like
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just, like, I know it's a cup
or something like that in the cup game, and you'll probably see lots and lots of youth assets. You'll probably see Pepe start. It will probably look exactly like the Leicester game, which is exactly what you said before I yelled at you and lost track of what show we were doing.
Max, I think Tony might be onto something here, though.
That's Mondays with Max. I do like that. I'm a big fan of that.
That brings me to my next point, kids. Don't smoke crack.
Yes.
Meth is fine. Meth is fine. Don't stay away from the crack.
Oh my god.
I knew this was gonna go to shit today, but
yeah, but it should probably be noted too, going into Liverpool on Thursday. We did lose them in the Carabao Cup last year. What was it? 5? It was 6-5 and we lost a penalty.
Yeah, we lost 5-5. We lost on penalty.
Joe Willock scored a fucking screamer.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we'll put up maybe a little bit better of a lineup, but we'll see. But all right, this is I think the time where what is it in that Barney show where I love you, you love me, like pick up your fucking toys and get the fuck out of here. So yeah, we're done. I kind of and that's a little clue into maybe the show's logo. So I don't want to give too much away, but I know Max is working really hard on the logo. So gave you a little taste, a little sneak peek.
Yeah, I'm trying to. So I've got it. It's just I'm trying to work out whether to make all of you purple. So I've managed to get your head onto Barney, and then I'm so that works. But like, it's just the body shape things, they line up. I didn't even have to do a lot with it.
I got a big fucking head.
I just lonked his fucking head like badly on top of Barney. Anyway, it'll be out. It will be out soon. If anyone listening to this later, the first Arse Brothers monthly will be out on Wednesday. So we'll be doing that. So that's all of us in the room. That's me, that's Mike, that's Toby, that's Ryan, that's Manny, breaking down our player of the month, our shit cunts of the month. For people who haven't watched Arse Bros Monthly, they tend to degenerate into complete fucking drunkenness. And it's first one of the year. And that's mainly due to the fact that it's the only podcast that we record at nighttime in Australia. So Toby and I tend to get stuck into the beers. But should be great. Review show coming at you on probably Monday or Tuesday with me and Toby. So fucking get it into you. Lots of Arse Bros coming at you.
Yes, and I do, before we go, I have to plug a certain something. Technically not right now, but in an hour, it's Tanner's birthday. Tanner, happy motherfucking birthday, bro. I hope you don't do meth. I definitely don't do meth. I do not do that.
Look,
first time for everything, let's go.
I'm not going to tell you not to do it.
Yes, that, exactly.
I'm not encouraging you to do it. I'm just saying sometimes in life, what do I always say to my wife when she asks me why I'm so fucking stupid? I'm like, you got to do shit to know shit.
Right? That's, fucking brilliant.
Boom. All right, Tanner, plug your shit right now.
Already did. It's been plugged for a while. Oh, you mean the shows and okay. Sorry.
Tanner's constipated? I don't know.
Anywho, so Ryan and I have a little thing called the Same Old Arsenal USA show that we do on the same old.
Just a small amount of listeners.
I'm a little more professional, I promise. A little more. This is my only. I say this in the Same Old Arsenal. This is my only fans account. This is where I go, be maybe you see a nip slip.
This is his OnlyFans account, and for $5.99 a month, he'll take his shirt off for you. Just saying. So we've got Same Old Arsenal USA. That's every Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific. We will also be launching very soon, hopefully, a rebranding of the Bearded Gooner channel, which is my channel. That's going to be flipping over to Bearded Gooner Media, and we're gonna have a lot more content for you over there. We'll still have this concept there, but we're working on a lot of other things right now to really kind of fill your day with Arsenal talk and interesting fan interaction, things like that. So stay the fuck tuned. I think that's it. That's all I got for right now.
All right. Love it, boys. So we will see everybody later at some time. I honestly, when the podcast ends, I want to play the Barney song, because I know I like normal Arse Bros. We play the heavy metal, the drumming, and it's awesome. But I want to play Barney shit.
All right, hang on. I got real quick. What's the difference between an alligator and a crocodile?
What?
One will see you later. One will see you after a while.
I don't get it. All right, later, fucks.
Good times.